Coach, the Broncos are coming off kind of a mini bye week there, and we head into midweek action. But let's talk the 16-10 win over Miami and what was a really dominant performance by the Western Michigan defense.
Yeah, I mean, those guys, they played great for 60 minutes. You know, especially down the stretch, they needed to make some stops against, Gabbert came back, and that's one of the better quarterbacks in our league. And I really felt like all three layers did a great job. I thought we stayed on top of them in pass pro. I thought our DBs played really well. And then linebackers and D-line, we got after the quarterback a little bit. And, it was a great performance by them, and it's the reason we won the game. We got to continue to lean on those guys. There's a lot of experience over there, and a great week of practice, and we'll have to continue to have them to hold people down.
Defense has had some trouble with the passing game on and off this season. But how big was that early pass breakup by Kenai Lovely in the end zone on their opening drive?
It was huge. He was in good position. I know, we've been working really hard on we've changed some things in the back end of what we do and how we do it, and some techniques, and just trying to help those guys be in better position. And I think that's one of the most important things is as you get through a season, if things aren't going well, even if it's just one little small technique, if you can find a way to say it in a different way, to get those guys to be more patient at the line of scrimmage, stay on top more. We were getting a little bit aggressive, I thought, at the line of scrimmage, getting run by a little bit. But I thought all of them, I mean, that includes our safeties too. They took plenty of shots. They went after Kenai multiple times, and he was on top and in good position the whole time. And when you limit big plays, we're hard to beat, and if you have to hold the ball to get the ball down the field, then hopefully our D-line and our front seven can get home and make you feel uncomfortable, and that's hard to get Gabbert to feel uncomfortable because he's a really tough kid, but he was coming back off an injury, hadn't played in a little bit, and was a little rusty early, got better as the day went on, and but I feel like defensive line-wise, we got after him, and our linebackers, made it uncomfortable back there for him, and really put him in a position where he was throwing off his back foot a lot, which helped our secondary, obviously.
Two big changes on offense, the reorganization of the offensive line, and then Trayson Bourguet making his collegiate debut. What did you see from both of those units?
I thought the O-line did a great job. I mean, that's the number one defense in our league statistically, Miami is, and they loaded the box, and we had a plan, and it was a plan specifically created for a true freshman quarterback, and it was going to be dirty downhill runs, and I thought our interior offensive line had their best game. We were for 170, 180 yards against that front, which I think they averaged giving up 100, 110 maybe, because they always have one more than you, and we tried to protect Trayson the best we could. We can do a better job there. We can do a better job on the edges. We have to. Trayson can throw the ball better. He didn't turn the ball over. He managed the offense. We got the run game going. We got Sean Tyler in some space. And now we'll just continue to try to develop offensively, but I think he did a good job. Took care of the ball, did a good job leading us. But really Sean and the offensive line and the tight ends really did a great job of being productive enough. I guess that's the word I'm going to say. We got to be better. And that's what we've been working on with this couple extra days we get this week.
I understand there was a change in play calling duties against Miami, with you taking over the play calling role and Jeff moving down from the box to field level.
Not exactly true. Close.
Okay, correct.
Yeah.
Can you correct what I had?
Eric Evans called the plays. I have a hard time calling it from down. I put the plan together. Eric was upstairs. And so Eric called the plays with me. I mean, I hop in when I feel like I need to. But I've taken over as the decider of things, of what's going in, what's not going in, how we're doing it. And then Eric's been calling it. And it really was a group effort. Me and Eric have done this before. I think calling plays, I like being up when I'm calling plays. So I like putting it together, and I trust Eric, and he did a good job. And I think I hopped in 2, 3, 4, 5 times. We discussed before every call what we're thinking. So we've done this in years past, and it was great to have Coach Thorne on the sideline when an 18-year-old quarterback comes off the field. His coach is right there. In fact, we did that with Eric a couple years ago when Caleb was a freshman. We brought Eric down, and Coach Moreland called the plays because I wanted Eric to be there with Caleb when Caleb was first time starting. So I thought the whole sideline, the logistical part of an offense was really well run, and but we have to put more points up, But that part for the first time ever doing it was good.
Was Trayson making his debut what prompted that change?
Well, Jack was hurt, and Jack also really struggled mightily in the second half of the Ohio game. So I felt like we needed a change. Jack didn't practice all week because of a knee injury. He was cleared right before the game, but didn't get any reps. They both gotten tons of reps this week. I'm not necessarily going to say who's going to start, but they're both ready. I mean, Jack's healthy again. Trayson's gotten better. Marion's definitely going to play because he's got a package in our offense. So I feel like right now all three of them are ready to go, especially with the extra time. Jack's 100% healthy again, and Trayson didn't get banged up, and Marion, feels good too. So we got some options there.
Did Jeff Thorne's role change at all during the week, or was it just a matter of getting him down on the field so that he could talk with Caleb?
What?
I'm sorry, not Caleb.
Caleb. No. I mean, a little bit, yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is we're struggling on offense, and we need to make changes. That's our job. We're accountable to that. And so Coach Thorne was one of the first people when we met after the Ohio game to talk about making changes, And so me taking over as the pseudo offensive coordinator or making decisions on what we're going to do, how we're going to put it together, and but he's coaching the quarterbacks. I'm in the room some because I'm the main guy putting it together. So it's always good to have that guy in the room. So, but he's coaching the quarterbacks, and Coach Evans is coaching the running backs. He's calling the plays for the most part, and we're doing it. But it's definitely different, And our kids have responded, and we still got a long way to go. But it was better because we didn't turn the ball over. Period. The end. I mean, we didn't give the ball to the other team. We allowed our defense to be great. But we have our part in playing complementary football. That's everyone doing their part. And I felt like offensively that was the one thing we did well, and we need to continue to do that moving forward.
Is Jeff going to be down on the field again this week?
Yeah. It's going to be just like last week.
Thoughts on Trayson's first career start? How do you think he looked out there? Efficient.
He missed some throws, sailed a couple balls. I'm sure his heart rate was through the roof. Made a couple plays with his feet. We've tried to do everything logistically through the offense to make it as easy as possible. For him not to have to do too much at the line of scrimmage. But I thought he did a good job. He did a good job leading the team. Didn't turn the ball over. Did enough to win. But as we move forward, the quarterback's going to have to do more. He's going to have to make some big throws and some big plays in certain situations. I thought he did a great job at the end of the half in 2-minute drill. He used I think he hit a couple hitches, and then he used his legs a couple times to get us into field goal range, and then Palmer hit the long field goal to go up 6-3 at the half. I thought that was a huge moment for him. But we have to do better around him too, to be honest with you. I think we need to protect him a little better. I think our wideouts can play better, and we still have a long way to go on offense. But it was a good start for an 18-year-old. You never know what you're going to get sometimes with those guys, and he did a really good job.
Ladarius Jefferson didn't get any carries last weekend. Can you update us on his status?
Yeah, he's been suspended indefinitely from our team for an off-the-field issue, for a violation of team rules, and that's all I'm going to say about that now.
Bowling Green, one of their defensive ends, leads the nation in sacks. They have a bunch of guys who have at least one sack on the season. Just talk about some of the challenges that pass rush poses to opposing offenses.
It's ironic when we watch film throughout the week. We watch opposing teams, right? So Coach Espo has been watching this defensive line while getting ready for other games, and unbelievably complimentary. And I really think Coach Espo knows what he's talking about when it comes to D-line play. So he kind of gave us the rundown of these guys, and they can get after a quarterback, and they're big. That's the thing. I mean, sometimes in our league you don't get a 300-pound D end. You get 240s like the Holly Fayeds of the world. Having a guy like Andre Carter at 275 coming off the edge is unique, and so they're big, their linebackers are big, and if you get in third down now, they're coming, so we got to be extremely smart. tons of respect for the pass rush of this group. So we're going to have to try to stay ahead of the chains. Hopefully you don't let them pin their ears back too much, because when you allow them to do that, you get down in a game and have to throw it, they really thrive in that situation. So third down's going to be, we got to be smart, and hopefully if we're better on first and second down, third downs are easier. But with penalty, you're going to be in some third and longs. We got to be really smart and make sure we know where 11 is. But he ain't the only one. There's plenty. 9's a good player, and there's tons of them. So it's they've when you're ranked in the top 10 in the country in something this late in the season, it's not just a who you've played thing. There, we're 8 games in. So these guys are legit good, and I think it's one of the reasons they're number 3-1 in our league. So we have to know their strengths, and we have to be better offensively and make sure that they don't make a huge impact in the game, because they found a way to do it in most of the games they've been in.
Bowling Green really likes to throw the ball. Defensively, how do you game plan for a quarterback that doesn't really have a favorite receiver? I think have 4 to 5 guys with 20-plus receptions on the year so far.
Yeah, he spreads it around really well, and they just do so much stuff. I mean, you're going to see 30, 40, 50 different formations. It's not going to be 4 formations. It's going to be at least double digits. Lefty does a great job with that offense, and they do a little bit of everything, and the quarterback's smart and accurate. They do a good job protecting him. They use extra tight ends. I mean, they'll run. I know Robin Hook loves 12 personnel. They'll run 12, 13, and 14 a lot. And so they do a good job. They have those extra tight ends to protect them. So they do a good job, and we just like every other week, we got to try to keep them in front of us, because they're going to try to go over the top on us. And we got to try to make the quarterback uncomfortable, and that's going to be the name of the game. And if we do that, our defense always plays well when we can keep them in front of us.
Coach, I like 12 personnel. I love 13 personnel. So
I like the number.
That's right. So with that in mind, you have had to really adjust everything around Bronco football this year because of the way your team is built. In the past, in your past years here, it's been a prolific offense, up near or at the top in all of the offensive categories, scoring, total yards, rushing, passing. Now it's kind of flipped. Not that your defense hasn't been solid, because it was certainly last year, but now your defense is kind of leading the way. So how does that adjust how you game plan week to week?
Yeah, it's there's a word. It's called punt. It's okay. In the past, we've had to score 50 to win. And I forget the stat. It's something like, I think in my first 5 years, we averaged 35 points a game for a 5-year span. That's really hard to do. And that's what we got to get back to, because obviously this year did not start off that way. But it's great. It's great to be in that season with a defense you can lean on. As some of the younger players we have on the offensive side are coming along. And we've been playing. We were rotating some new wide receivers in there last week, and you're going to see more of that. And so we saw some new running backs in there, and we're going to see more of that. And but we have to make sure we play complementary football, and we got to get the offensive learning curve to speed up. We haven't done that yet, and what's one of the reasons you make changes, right? Because we got to get it going, and that's the biggest thing. That's what I wake up to do every day, is find a way to get back to where we were, and I think our guys have really responded well to the changes thus far, but we got to see it out on the field. 16's not going to cut it. The lack of turnovers was great. The time of possession was great. The running the ball was great. It was great to have those back. There's a couple other things we need to get back, and that'll help our defense a lot.
It seems to me that offensive production in all of college football is down a little bit. It seems like defenses are better.
They're catching up. They are. They're catching up. I think it was Coach Kenny that said it to me before the game last week. Just looking at the scores, there's a lot of 20-17 games. There's a lot of 27-25 games. So, I mean, everything's cyclical, and I think they're catching up to the RPOs. They're catching up at the pace. Some of these, not everybody watched Tennessee go, and they're rolling right now and fast. But yeah, it has been an interesting year that way. I think the total scoring, I don't know if it's down officially, but it feels like it is. that's not an excuse. That score 16. We got to get back to where we're in the 30s every game, and because although I have all the faith in the world in our defense, I don't want to have to. They don't have to hold them to 10 every game. I want to do our job on the offensive side. I think our special teams is playing at a higher level than they have, and I think hopefully we can get some splash plays in special teams, and we just got to keep leaning on our defense to go keep making plays and be the veteran group that they are.
What do you think about the league this year? In the past, the West Side has been a little bit stronger. It seems like the East is caught up a little bit. Obviously, Buffalo's without a loss so far, and Ohio's better than a lot of people thought they were going to be. Bowling Green's better than a lot of people thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched Buffalo on film a couple times, and they are a great football team. I mean, blocking, tackling, fundamental football, smart. I think they've done a great job coaching. Just been very impressed with them taking care of the ball and their defense. Man, their defense punches the ball out better than any team I've ever seen. Until we made a cut up just to show our guys of how well they do. And so that's a really good football team. Obviously, I think the quarterback at Ohio is pretty special. But unlike, just like every other year, I think our league will come down in November, and it's about to be November tomorrow. And a lot of teams are going to be in it, and we got to show up and play and play our best in November. And our defense, I feel really confident that they're playing well. And offense, we got work to do, and I'm excited to get them back out there again soon.
I guess it's kind of fitting with all the craziness in the MAC that has happened in the past few years. You guys control your own destiny, I believe. Have you relayed that message to your team? And what do you think about how the MAC West is shaping up?
We got to beat Bowling Green. That's what I think. I'm sure they know that chips have fallen that way, and the chips will change a couple more times. I'm sure. We're focused on getting better, especially offensively. As I'm taking over that role, but we got one game at a time, and this is the number 2 team. They're 3-1 in the league on the other side, and. Controlling your own destiny only matters when you take care of the things you need to take care of, So I have not mentioned it to them. We just talked a ton about this opportunity that we have on Wednesday night.